What is the most expensive property on the island? What's the price point? US.
4 million US up. So
4 million up, and then your new development will be $5 million and up.
So yeah, we are just starting our second project, and the price point would be 4 or 5 million US up.
If you move further over there, it gets hard to film because everyone's nude. And if you move beyond the nude beach, you've walked through a cleansing zone of people not caring a hoot about who you are and what you do.
And which kind of guy would you say, if he's watching, you'd say, you know what, you probably would love it here?
I would say the person that's looking for a tranquil lifestyle, that's looking to be healthy in eating, a person that's looking to do yoga, a person that's looking to create meditation, and are looking to expand their consciousness and their awareness.
I said, why not just move somewhere where I can just go out to dinner every night, live in a nice place, and have a just better quality of life without having to continually struggle.
Welcome to Koh Phangan, Thailand. This island is most known for the full moon party, yoga, digital nomads, hippies, its jungle vibe, and now it's on the radar of another group of people. That's expats, older guys like me, over 50, who are choosing to make Koh Phangan home and their place of choice as a place in Thailand to live. I'm considering a different place to live in Thailand after living almost the last 4 years in Phuket, but Phuket has become too overran with tourists for me. For this video, I'm going to interview some expats that are living here that are from the US and get their opinion of what it's like to live in Koh Phangan. But first, I'm going to take you through my checklist. I'm going to sit down and have coffee, and I have a little checklist I use to evaluate a place when I consider it to stay long-term or live. So I'm going to take you through that checklist and see if Koh Phangan meets that minimum criteria is a place to live as an expat. So next stop, coffee. Pull over up here and have a little coffee. Baked Sense. So I'm here at a little coffee shop called Baked Sense. I'm gonna pull up here with the laptop and go through that list I was telling you about. Thank you so much. Yeah. But it's one thing I love about Koh Phangan is the coffee houses and also cacao houses. They have like the most amazing cacao on this island. So let me go through my list really quick. The list I use for selecting a place to stay long-term or live. And Koh Phangan, for the most part, checks all the boxes, except for safety and also for ease of day. In both of those things, the reason why they're not so good here, it's the roads. The roads are quite dangerous. They're pretty hard to drive on, even in a car, but definitely difficult to drive on a motorbike. There's all this sand and dust. But otherwise, Koh Phangan is great. Environmentally, beautiful weather. You're in nature. The only noise pollution you're gonna have is the guy selling brooms. He'll come by and squeak a little horn, and then you hear a bunch of scooters. But otherwise, at nighttime, you have all these nature sounds. And for my list, for selecting a place to stay or live, Koh Phangan does check all the important ones, except the ones related to the difficult roads here. So I'm gonna sit here and do my daily routine, get caught up on a little bit of work, do my journaling. I'm reading this really cool book right now, 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think, and then make the rounds today. I'm gonna interview first a retired fireman from Miami, Florida, from South Beach, and his wife is from Brazil. Gonna talk to him, they just moved here. Also gonna talk to a guy from the US. He went to my university, UC Santa Barbara. He's moving here, retired guy. Also, the younger guys that move here, they choose to work remotely from here. A lot of interesting younger guys that choose Koh Phangan as a place to call home. I'm gonna finish off this video. I'm gonna take you to one of my favorite little workout places here that has the sauna, the steam, and the ice bath that Koh Phangan is so known for. Koh Phangan, and I'm sitting here with Chuck. Chuck's from the US, Delray, Florida, retired firefighter, Recently moved to Koh Phangan.
Yep.
Chuck, it feels great to meet you because as I explore places to live now in Thailand, I'm going to leave Phuket.
Uh-huh.
And it's great to meet you because I feel like we share some experiences
Yep.
other than culture, culturally as an American.
Uh-huh.
But you left the U.S. and moved to Koh Phangan.
Yeah.
And you had a business in the U.S. You had a career. Your wife is from Brazil. You met in South Beach.
Uh-huh.
Why Koh Phangan?
I'd done a lot of research for several years beforehand, talking to friends, the internet, YouTube, saw your videos actually on YouTube. And I knew I was getting towards retirement, not age, I'm a little young for that, but career-wise. And we said, could we stay in the United States? Maybe, yeah. Still work a part-time job, still get by, but I'm going to have to continue working. And the inflation kept increasing and increasing. And I said, why not just move somewhere where I can just go out to dinner every night, live in a nice place, and have a just better quality of life without having to continually struggle.
Quality of life. How long have you been on Koh Phangan?
So it's been, I guess, a year now total. We have traveled back and forth a little bit.
So you were home recently.
Yeah.
And overall, how are you feeling about living here?
I like it because, safety is number one. We have just so many options here. We were driving in the mountains today, and it's like, oh, want to stop for lunch, want to go to a rooftop, want to do this. We just don't have that back, especially we're from Miami, where it's super expensive.
Chuck, you just said you were driving in the mountains.
Yeah.
Even though Koh Phangan, it's somewhat of a small island, there is some ecological diversity, meaning even geography. You have
it goes straight up, right off the beach.
Mountains, waterfalls.
Yeah, we took a left and just started heading up in the mountain, and our car could barely make it up. I had to switch to low gear, and we were at a viewpoint way up in the mountains today.
How would you describe Koh Phangan, like in a word or two, to somebody who's never been here?
Just a beautiful island. It has a few sides to it. It's diverse. It has a party side, a pure techno, crazy, wild party side, and then it has a whole yoga, spiritual, relaxed section to it also.
And now that you're into it, how do you feel about the fact that you moved here?
Yeah, we like it. We went back just to see how America was on the way back, just to see family. And we kind of were like, oh man, it's, we missed it here. We missed the style here.
Yeah, so we always miss things about home.
Yeah.
I miss some things about home.
Yeah.
But when I do go home, then I miss things about here, Thailand.
Yeah.
It's like a trade-off. And then I know for me, it becomes a matter of what my priorities are. And as I get older, safety and peaceful starts to really climb way up the list of priorities.
Yeah.
And we get that in Thailand.
Yeah.
I don't feel it as much back home.
Yeah. And we feel like we did everything there too. We did U.S. so much. We did all the trips, and
yeah, I feel like I need to qualify this a little bit. I mean, Chuck and his wife, Celine, you guys been married 10 years.
Yeah.
They met. You were living in South Beach.
Yeah.
And they used to pack up their Subaru, their 4x4-wheel drive, and cruise all around the U.S. and do your mountain biking and
paddleboarding,
explore,
and golfing,
and you had a business in Florida where you were.
I ran sailboats, windsurfing, kayaking, a water sports business.
Yep, and
for many years.
Retired firefighter.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. You're an American with options. This isn't like. Sometimes there's a stereotype that if Americans move here, that it's some guy barely scraping by on his retirement.
Okay, yeah, Social Security, and he's much older.
Much older, down there drinking beer every day.
Yeah.
This is there's a shift going on. Where there's Americans, I'm going to say like you, with options.
Yeah.
And you're choosing Thailand. And not only you, your wife.
Yeah. Yeah, we did really search around, and I was meeting other people online. There's different chat groups, and you meet another guy that I'm searching the world too. And he's also doing his research about healthcare. He's saying, okay, where can I get good healthcare? Where can I get safety? Where can I get a nice weather? I want warm water. Maybe that's even the big part about it. You know, you can look around the world, and I just don't want at 53 years old go in cold water. You know, I don't want to move to a beach that's cold water. That doesn't do me any good. And okay, I just want to dive in a nice warm ocean.
I don't want to shiver. I don't want to be cold.
Yeah.
You know, in Thailand, the weather can be humid and a little sweaty sometimes, which I'm fine with, as long as I don't have to shiver.
Yeah.
And as long as I don't need to use an umbrella and get rained on every single day.
Yeah.
And if it rains here, I really don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, Koh Phangan, this is the typical dress.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. As much as you dress, very simple.
Where else did you consider in Thailand?
I don't think we considered anywhere because I had really done my research, I guess for me. You know, we just knew, my friend lived here and he says, oh, you know, Koh Samui is just too much traffic, it's too commercialized. Phuket was just seemed much too large to move over there. I just wanted the community. We're like, okay, I know everybody, I can go play pool tonight, I can go meet friends somewhere tonight at the different places. It just seemed like a small enough island to know people.
Yeah, and when we met, you were out there playing pickleball with your wife.
Oh yeah, we played.
You had your group, very cool group of kind of buddies who you're playing almost every day.
Yeah, yeah. And we know all those guys, and you know, there's like 8 or 10 of us to play, and hey, let's meet tonight here, let's go here for some dancing. And it's like a whole network of people.
You said you go out to eat almost every night.
Yeah, yeah, because I find it just cheaper.
You know, even if you have kind of what you call a lot of money back home, I don't know if we could go out to eat every night.
No, no.
Because not only is the so expensive for what we get here compared, but it's not, for me, is enjoyable as much of an experience back home. I don't care the level of the restaurant. Back home, it could be a high level. You still don't get the service like you get here.
Yeah, it's all on the beach. Or today we stopped at a coffee shop. It was kind of little in the jungle, but very well done. You know, very good prices, but just very chill. Back home, it's just Starbucks. It's chain restaurants. Everything's a big shopping mall. You pull into a shopping mall, go to a, you know, big chain restaurant that's very...
With people just doing their job. So there's not this care like a lot of the places we go to eat here, they're family owned. So they're putting a lot more attention and care, not only into the product, but the service.
Yeah, very simple. You know, can I eat beachfront or eat on the top of a mountain or a beautiful overlook and be a nice Thai person presenting a food to us. And it's just a nice change of pace from...
You know, so for this video, I'm considering different places to live after leaving Phuket. Different places in Thailand. And they're broken down. They're going to show up on the screen right now into tier 1, 2, and 3, and 4 places or cities around Thailand. And Koh Phangan's labeled in there a tier 3, as in tier or what's more common for expats to move to. So tier 1, Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Phuket, Pattaya. Right? And then maybe tier 2 would be Hua Hin, and so on and so forth. But I don't know if Koh Phangan's on the radar yet.
I see.
Is it?
I think so, because Israel, huge Israel influx in here. They're realizing it's just a nice island to live. You know, I mean, the roads are a little rough. You have to be careful. They don't make beautiful, safe roads here. You have a road, drive your scooter, drive it slow. We have a car. We bought a car this time, and we had a scooter last time. So we feel a little easier, safer in a car right now.
Yeah, let's talk about the downsides to Koh Phangan. You don't, I agree 100% because I'm here on my motorbike, and it's stressful to ride. I'm a good rider, but the roads are very sandy and very dusty, potholes. Maybe it's good, it keeps other riders accountable on motorbikes. In Phuket, it becomes a race course.
I see,
And you might get ran over by one of these guys. Here, one of those guys will just crash. They can't drive reckless like that because the sand corrects it.
Exactly.
They're going to crash. But what are some other drawbacks to living on Koh Phangan as an expat?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, some people say, oh, you know, you got to travel. Like Hua Hin, Samui, they have an airport, or Hua Hin's closer to the rail track to get to Bangkok. But, I mean, I guess I'm retired. The ferry is 40 minutes ferry, it's $6. So if I really want to go to Koh Samui today and get a flight tonight, I can just take a ferry and be on a flight at 7 p.m. It's not a big deal to catch a flight out of here. So, and
Healthcare.
yeah,
Maybe.
I mean,
there's a hospital here. A couple.
down the street there's a hospital. I think there's like several hospitals, all small enough to take care of most emergencies.
I think so.
Most minor things. I mean, if it's anything major, you might need to, like you said, hop on the high-speed boat and get right over to Bangkok Hospital,
In Samoa.
which is high-end,
Yeah.
which would take care of everything.
2 years ago, I spent 5 weeks on Koh Phangan,
Uh-huh.
and at the time, it was kind of pandemic days. Phuket was like heaven, and I came here, and it just didn't feel like it had much to offer compared to Phuket.
Oh, okay.
Now, though,
Yeah.
the way Phuket is transformed into China, Russia, and India, a big tourism hub,
Yeah.
it's lost its Thai flavor. And if I had to weigh it, and you told me today to pick one, I would pick here
Oh, okay.
over
Very
Phuket.
good. Yeah. I
For
see.
sure, it just feels better.
Uh-huh.
There's great restaurants, and I've had easy to meet people and talk to people,
Yeah, yeah.
and there's just a cool vibe, and you don't get these busloads of tourists
Yeah, yeah.
coming through here like you have in Phuket,
No.
where every time you look up, there's a big bus.
Yeah, yeah. And
So
you
I
have
think-
some nicer resorts here on the other side, which you see some of the vans pull in and pick up the tourists on the top of the island to bring them to some beautiful resorts. But that's a whole separate side that we really don't see. There's kind of different sides of the island.
We're sitting here at your home. So Chuck and his wife bought this villa.
Uh-huh.
And can you share with us a little bit about the buying process?
So it was easy to buy. We saw it and we saw the plans online, met the agent when we were here last year, but we actually bought it in America. They just emailed us all the paperwork. I sent them a 10% deposit check, and it was all done while I was in Miami. So I didn't have to be here. I didn't have to be anything about it. I was all in America while it was being processed.
And price and location and
Oh yeah, so for the price we paid and the size we got, this brand new construction. I have a 30-year lease on the land. I mean, there's a lot of different unique ways to buy, but just we bought in the simple way of a 30-year land lease. So we're able to get a lower price, especially at our age. At 53, we have 30 years, so we're
can you
we're
say
good.
how much you paid?
Yes, so we bought this 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and you see everything fully furnished for 140,000 US. And we paid 10% down and 20%. We paid in increments, and we paid it in full. You have to buy it and finish the payments when
And
it's
you're
built.
literally a walk to the beach. I mean,
Yeah,
from
yeah.
here, you just past the palm trees.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe just, I guess, 100 meters away.
Amazing.
From the beach. We have little restaurants we can walk to. And
And you said when you're not here, you could even Airbnb it for a couple grand a month, right?
yeah, so we're in like a community. It's fully managed. So we just tell the guy, hey, November 1st, we're leaving. How long do you want to Airbnb? 3 months, 6 months?
Yeah.
And then they just manage it and send us a check. So it's a very easy
Amazing.
management style.
I like this the whole setup. You know, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because when you compare it to back home, no way.
Oh, yeah.
Would we have this kind of lifestyle? Especially when you consider just on a financial side.
Yeah.
If we paid the same amount of money that you're paying here in Thailand, not only for home but for going out to eat and everything,
Yeah.
you wouldn't get much back in return back home.
No, I mean, where are we living? We kind of even did the math. We, was professional back home, made okay money. And we're thinking, where can we live to get a decent house, to get all that?
No,
And you start saying, where in America can you
I know.
possibly do that?
You know, we talked about that with your wife too, that Latin America, just like for me, for you guys too, is off the table because of safety.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the world starts to get smaller in regard to options.
Uh-huh.
And Thailand still makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we sort of checked off so many, even America, we're like, okay, where can we be on this coast, that coast? And there are a lot of nice stuff to America, but we didn't want to be in the cold.
No.
Want to be more south. So,
Chuck, for those watching, this conversation's probably sparked some interest.
okay.
Just share with us a few things like that wouldn't be good about if it's an American. Like we talked earlier
Okay.
off the video. You were saying this isn't for all Americans.
Yeah.
What are some reasons why it's not?
It's a little, it's hot when April came in May, so it really got hot, and you kind of just were looking for restaurants that were AC. We didn't even want to eat outside, so wherever we went, AC restaurant, air conditioning. and then not a lot of the air conditioning was good. It was like, okay, there's some air conditioning in this place, but not like at home where it was cold. So, and that's why we bought a car this time, because we were usually on a scooter. So it was a little hard getting around.
Even coming from Florida, which is so muggy
Yeah,
and humid.
yeah, but we hopped in that car, we went to the shopping malls, really cold
Oh, that's
AC.
true. You're always conditioned.
Yeah, everything.
Conditioned space back home.
Yeah, we went
You go from
one
car to mall to indoors and comfortable.
Exactly, yeah.
Here, you have to be prepared to sweat.
Yeah, even I remember stopping at 7-Eleven one day. I'm like, they have air conditioning at 7-Eleven. We're going to go in and get something to drink and hang
Sure.
out for 15 minutes to get our bodies cool because we're on a scooter.
Okay, then on the other side, when you think back at your life back home, what are some reasons why this does make a lot of sense, moving to Koh Phangan as an expat?
Oh, okay.
Why?
I mean, I kind of chose it because I'm a kiteboarder. I like to kiteboard, beautiful flat water. It's a good spot to live like that. We found it just options. You know, we can go dancing tonight. We can go downtown to play pool with friends. We can go play tennis, which you do have some of that in America, but it's just, we have all of this here. You know, we have a golf course on the other island. It is a little limiting. At home you have 25 golf courses. Here you have 2. So there are some
the amenities here.
Yeah.
There are some unique things. For example, I feel like it's so easy to be healthy here. You have so many like saunas and ice bath and gyms and yoga, and it's just, it can be so fitness beyond over the top.
Yeah.
If you want it to be here.
Yeah.
Some people come here and they go the other way, where they want to party, and maybe if they're younger, right?
Yeah. there's a whole
And
party
they can
scene.
go down that path. But people can also go down the other path on Koh Phangan, where it's just so healthy.
Yeah, there's some, you know, websites or on the internet, you have your little groups. And you'll just see today is yoga here, yoga there. There's 30 yoga studios, let's say. There's so much healing here. You can take classes on
no doubt.
everything. There's 12 classes a day. There's bonfire at night. There's
That's right.
singing groups at night. It's very diverse for its different spiritual things, different healing. So many gyms here, so much. But I mean, maybe on the downside, there's not as much walking and biking, which I do miss at home. It's definitely scooter.
For sure.
You know.
Yeah, people, I always say being on a scooter in much of Thailand is much safer than being on a bicycle.
Yeah.
And that includes Koh Phangan. Safer on a scooter than bicycle.
Yeah. So I miss at home, I could just really walk and get exercise and ride my bike on paths and exercise.
I miss that too. You know, just
Yeah.
having bike paths.
Yeah. That's
But
all
it's a trade-off.
Uh-huh.
And I don't miss some of the other stuff back
Yeah.
home. The polarization, the conflict, a little bit of the danger element.
Yeah.
Here we just, not all that's removed.
No. And you kind of have to be. If somebody cuts you off in traffic, you learn the island is a circle. So you yell at that guy, you drive around the circle, you see him.
You see him again.
Again and again and again. So you have to.
There's more community.
Yeah. Everybody drives down the road. No, after you. Everybody
Kind,
just
a little more kind,
flows.
flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you really can't.
Man, good move on Koh Phangan. You know, and I say that as I look for places other than Phuket to live in Thailand. I think Koh Phangan is becoming even more attractive.
Yeah.
Chuck, I'll be seeing more of you on Koh Phangan.
Okay.
Especially if I move kind of over here
Yeah,
towards Suratani or something. I'll be hopping over here a lot more frequently.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
It has a lot to offer, for sure. And you got to explore. You got to go find it. You drive around the mountain, and next thing you know, there's some yoga studio deep hidden up in the mountain with people eating lunch overlooking the mountain. Like I had no idea this was here.
That's right. And for you guys watching, if you want to find Chuck, you're probably going to find him playing pickleball.
Yep.
You go around the island and you see some guys playing pickleball.
Yep. There's only one court, so we're.
Oh, and they just built a brand new soccer field, which is I like. I like to play soccer. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I went by there today, and it is really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's 2 big soccer fields
Yeah.
on the island.
So it's good. Okay, guys. I'll see
right.
you on the next stop. Chuck, thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
Yeah. See you guys. Paul and I went to the same university, UC Santa Barbara. He grew up in the US and now he's been living in Thailand 14 years. He's getting ready to move to Koh Phangan, and this is where I'm staying for this trip. It has like yoga, healthy, sauna, steam, ice bath and everything. And Paul practices like Hawaiian healing is his work in Thailand. But, you know, can we say how old you are?
Sure. I guess it's okay. I'm 72 years old.
72 years old, you're in great shape. I was out watching him play pickup ball. And these guys in great shape. Paul, okay, so let's break this down. 14 years in Thailand, why Koh Phangan?
Koh Phangan has kind of what I would refer to as a very high level of consciousness, spiritually orientated. A lot of my work is spiritually orientated through meditation.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you do feel the spirituality when you're on Koh Phangan. It's known as a spiritual island.
Well, you know, you also feel like it's a very lovely place to be because it's quite beautiful. The serenity, the nature that's here is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, right behind us, I'm going to flip the camera around right now for you guys. I mean, it's beautiful. We're just sitting here, having a chat, having a little coconut, and we have the pool here. I mean, you hear the ocean sounds and the nature, and at night you hear all the jungle sounds. It's special. What's attractive to you about Koh Phangan other than the spirituality because of your healing business?
Yeah. I would say the people that you meet are extremely interesting. The people that you see are very kind of like out of the norm because I've been living out of the box for a long time now. And so you have other camaraderie between that. And I find people so friendly here. I mean, warm and just genuinely heartfelt, which is kind of cool.
It's funny you say that because I've been enjoying that, and here's why. I didn't realize how alone I felt in Phuket lately. Because all you have in Phuket now is one tour bus after another full of Chinese tourists. You have a lot of Russians, a lot of Middle East and Indian. Very rare that I was meeting people like you in Phuket. It's been cool to be here, and literally, as I go about my day now, I'm having all these interesting conversations and interactions.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. It's a friendly place. I mean, people are very approachable. The sunsets alone here are amazing and fascinating. I think that's almost worth it in itself to be here.
Guys, as we're talking, I'm going to put up on the screen right now. The first night I was here, there was a sunset, and it's stunning. You can see it now. It was that bright red. We had just finished yoga right here, and it was amazing.
Yeah, I got you.
You're right. The sunsets are incredible.
Yeah.
What else? What else is, you're going to leave Samui. You're a golfer,
Yeah.
and I guess you have one golf course here, right? Or no, just none.
Samui has 2 golf courses. There's no golf course here.
None on Koh Phangan.
None on Koh Phangan. Yeah.
I'm sure there will be in the future, but there must be other things that attract you here to walk away. I mean, you're very close by a boat ride, but to kind of walk away from your golf routine on a regular basis, you must feel kind of being pulled to Koh Phangan.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in Samui for about 14 years on a regular basis. And so now it's about kind of being where I'd like to be for kind of mental clarity, health, wellness, you know, having friendships of like-minded people. And so I feel that's here right now.
Yeah, you said the health and wellness. I don't need a lot to make me happy. I need good coffee. I need good Wi-Fi, peaceful safety, but I do need health. I need, and Koh Phangan has it, these cool gyms, ice bath, sauna.
Yeah.
It's actually next level. Phuket has it too, but it's next level here. And it's quite amazing.
Yeah.
That will pull me here alone.
Yeah, exactly.
And all the healthy food.
Yeah. All I feel is I need about maybe 2 or 3 more tattoos, and I'll blend in really well.
Yeah, you do see. But you know, speaking of tattoos, and if you kind of go over to what I saw here 2 years ago, you saw more of the tattoo, more of the jungle guy that shows up with $100 in his pocket, and probably was just figuring out a way to make it work. Kind of very hippie. I think that's kind of going away. It's getting too expensive.
Yeah. I think that basically you see a new breed of people after COVID, that people are online, people are young people that are making money, doing businesses online.
Yeah, I'll say this too, that when I'm in coffee places here, I'm actually seeing a lot of remote workers here on the island, more so than I was seeing in even Phuket.
Yeah.
Which is good, because you end up with kind of another group of the population here that's kind of is doing interesting things. One of the interviews on this video, you're going to see shortly a guy from Norway, Tidemann. He's working remote and he loves Koh Phangan. We're going to see him next. Before we go and hop around, before I go and hop around the island, talk to some more people. Hi. Paul, one word to describe Koh Phangan, what is it?
Serenity, calmness, peacefulness, a lifestyle that gives you peace.
Serenity, calmness, peacefulness. Okay, what are some drawbacks to Koh Phangan?
The roads aren't very good. The infrastructure's not very good. There's a couple
That's
roads here that are
right.
pretty tough. Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Plus,
I-
it's a motorbike island. So basically you're on a bike a lot. So it's really kind of bumpy quite a bit. And so when it's rain, there's a lot of grain. There's sand all over the place a little bit.
You know, it's interesting. 100% agree with you because I want my day to be relatively easy, and the roads here make it hard. Paul, and you've been around the world a bit. You lived in California. You're a gaucho like me, UCSP. You lived in Hawaii for quite a while. What, guys our age, okay, expats considering moving to Thailand, there's going to be a certain kind of guy that would enjoy Koh Phangan, and a certain guy that wouldn't. Maybe he would enjoy more Bangkok.
Sure.
Which guy would you say, if he's watching, say, skip Koh Phangan, you're going to be better off in Bangkok? Who's that guy?
Someone who likes more of an upstate, kind of sophisticated lifestyle. Nice dining, drinking fine wines, and having the benefit of going to more of what I would refer more elegant spots, more five-star orientation. If you notice, there's no airport here. There's no five-star hotels really on this side. There's a couple on the other side, but very, very, very few. Yeah, yeah.
And which kind of guy would you say, if he's watching, you'd say, you know what, you probably would love it here?
I would say the person that's looking for a tranquil lifestyle, that's looking to be healthy in eating, a person that's looking to do yoga, a person that's looking to create meditation, and are looking to expand their consciousness and their awareness.
Yeah, man, if you're out of shape, and you want to change your life, as we get older, and come somewhere where you just do a turn and get healthy, come to Koh Phangan. If you want to simplify, get rid of any designer handbags or all that bullshit. You're not going to see that here. Do you peel it right down to your
Yeah, it's down to the core.
t-shirt or
Yeah.
no shirt and
Yeah,
shorts
no shirts, yeah.
and live life and get
yeah.
healthy?
Yeah, let's not talk about, or forget rather, the ocean. I mean, basically being able to
Yeah,
get in
it's
the water
healthy.
is so easy. Yeah, yeah.
Paul, thanks, man. Fellow gaucho. Hey,
Here we go.
Before we take this scene out, you want to give us a little transition? Take the flute
Little
into the next
transition,
scene? The topic of this video is about living as an expat in Thailand, looking for different places that are great to live. So expats, usually we're over 50, like me. But when you're on Koh Phangan, there's another kind of expat that lives here, the remote worker. I'm going to call them the guys under 40, even though this is Tidemann. He's from Oslo, Norway. And we met at the coal working up the road, and then come out here, I'm flying the drone, and he's out here swimming. So this is where you come for swim.
This is where I come to swim, yeah.
Yeah, man.
I normally play guitar here actually, because it's a very judgmental-free place. It's called Zen Beach, so everybody here is kind of Zen. If you move further over there, it gets hard to film because everyone's nude. And if you move beyond the nude beach, you've walked through a cleansing zone of people not caring a hoot about who you are and what you do.
Or
So
what
if
you're wearing.
Or what you're wearing. I tend to keep it on for, I don't
So
know.
sometimes you bear it all while you swim?
Sometimes when I swim, yeah.
That's
but-
normal in Norway and the Nordic countries.
Yeah.
That's how it is. That's not even non-judgmental, it's just normal.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, it's a great place to go at sunset here. So
Yeah.
the Hadrian Beach on the other side is where I go for sunrise at times. So
Yeah.
I get the best of both worlds.
Sunrise, you'll go down
Yeah, I'll drive over for sunrise.
and swim.
I'll play the guitar and then I'll swim.
So what's your daily routine?
Wake up early, drive to sunrise, practice guitar for an hour, songwriting, get back, either work out or work, depending on my load. And then I'll go here for sunset. And depending how social I am, I'll either spend time with a woman or just with my music and mind, essentially.
Tidemann, what's your work?
My work is software, marketing, automation. Yeah,
You can work anywhere in the world you want.
anywhere I want.
Why Koh Phangan?
It's got such a great mixture of remoteness. So it's not a city. I'm not a city person, but you still need infrastructure. So then you need to find a place that has good internet, good places to set up your systems. And Koh Phangan really has that, I feel. So some place they get too much nature, and you lose kind of the practical side of things.
You don't have the Wi-Fi, the
Yeah.
electric, the comfort.
Correct. And then on the other side, you could get, like I was in Dubai last time before coming here, which was super efficient, but for me it lacked that sort of possibility to really relax as well.
Man, interesting. So of all the places in the world, how many months will you spend in Koh Phangan?
We'll see. I've been here across the years. I've probably been here a year total or so.
Man.
But, yeah, we'll see how long this stretch is now. Last stretch I was supposed to be here, but I had to return home to Norway for a little while. So, but I didn't really plan on that. So I'm kind of here now, and we'll see how long I'll stay.
What's one word that describes Koh Phangan?
Either free or spirited.
The downsides to Koh Phangan.
I'm a very positive person, so that's a difficult thing for me to answer.
Let me rephrase it. What kind of person, without doing stereotypes or
Yeah.
putting somebody in a bucket,
Yeah.
what
cool.
kind of person would have a hard time living here?
That's a great question. I would say people who demand a lot of structure, that can't deal with people driving without helmets, and full moon, the island fills up with a lot of tourists that kind of crazy. So I would say someone who really relies on security and stability, maybe. But I think you can find that here too. So for me, it's just city people, maybe. If you're a New Yorker, then probably not. Yeah.
And if you take people that value certain things, for example, for me, I'm really like fitness, health, yoga, good food. Okay, what kind of person would just love it here? So they're watching and they're saying, I want to look for somewhere else to live, or live in Thailand. Where? And why would they pick here?
I mean, people who are free, who are curious, explorative. Like this beach, for example, I didn't know about this beach for a long time, and then another nomad showed it to me, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And you keep discovering things like that. Yeah, I would say people who like health. There's a lot of, I go to a lot of gyms, and I went to like the best gym in Norway and stuff, where celebrities and stuff are, but nobody is as good a shape as the gym here, Xantiva. Because they're not steroid people, right? So they don't get like they don't feel unhealthy, because you can get into
Here.
the health. Yeah, they feel healthy people, but they're also immensely active. So people are in phenomenal shape.
Guys, I was in there last night. There was a guy balancing
They're amazing.
on one hand, elevated,
Yeah. So health,
levitated, or whatever you want to
conscious-
call it.
Yeah, health conscious people, people that enjoy the sun and also enjoy sort of like there's drum circles here. People are a little spiritual. You know, they're open to creating their own realities. So if you're an open person as far as the mind and ideas, and you kind of got that hippie nature to you, then also it's a great place for you.
How's dating on the island?
I think it's great. There's a lot of cultures here, right? So you can meet the culture that kind of fits the most with you. Even though I'm a Norwegian, I don't necessarily fit with Norwegian dating culture. I'm more Eastern European in my relationship dynamics. So those dynamics I get to explore. Like the last women I've been with here is Russian and Belarusian. So I'd say it's great. You know, it's an island, so if you have a flirt with someone, you might see them again, which is what it is.
It's a small circle.
It's a small circle.
Literally a small circle.
So you gotta sever
geographically.
Things, yeah, you gotta sever things well. You gotta be conscious about treating people well. But,
Yeah.
apart from that, I think it's amazing, and people are healthy, right? Healthy, happy people. That's a good.
Yeah,
dating environment.
you don't feel a lot of stress in the air.
No.
You don't feel a lot of tension.
No.
It just is a free spirit.
It is.
And when you guys come to Zen Beach in Koh Phangan, look out in the water about this time of evening. You might see Tidemann out there swimming, doing
I'll be
butterfly.
there. I'll be there.
Yeah, thanks, Tidemann.
The sharks don't get me. I'll be there.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Appreciate it, Phil.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, see you guys. So I stopped by one of my go-to coffee spots in Koh Phangan, ran into Mike. Mike, good to see you, man. It's been about
see you
2
again.
years.
Yeah.
Last time I was in Koh Phangan, we did a video.
Yeah.
We were on a vlog together, and I visited you at your home. Mike runs a real estate development company in Koh Phangan, but your home country is?
So I'm originally from Slovakia, but I've been coming here for the last 14 years. So this is my home away from home, and I spend a big part of the year here as well.
Yeah, so Slovakia, and 14 years off and on in Koh Phangan. You've seen all the changes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to flash up right now the home we toured when I was here last time, your home. And to put it in perspective, the rent for that home is about $2,000 a night.
Yeah, it went up over the last 2 years. I mean, it's partly the natural development of the island, but also we've been extremely successful in terms of renting it out. We've built a very loyal clientele. So already last year we managed to achieve 80% occupancy for the property, which is quite high at that
80%.
price point. 80%.
Amazing.
And this year we're looking at 90% even.
You know, I mean, for some people watching this video, or people who have never been to Koh Phangan, they might have a misperception that it's hippie and, you know, blah, blah, blah. But there's a whole nother side to this island that you're representing, which is these beautiful luxury villas.
Yeah. That's what I love about the island as well, that it's a blend of everything. There is a bit of everything, and everyone, whether you're traveling on a budget or you want luxury, you can find it here now. So also we are obviously, I would say maybe the most expensive property on the island, or one of them. And we definitely have a strong following. So it just shows there is also travels like this.
What is the most expensive property on the island? What's the price point? US.
4 million US up. So
4 million up, and then your new development will be $5 million and up.
So yeah, we are just starting our second project. It's going to be 3 individual properties of different size, 4 bedrooms, 5 bedrooms, and 7 bedrooms. Because we've seen there is a demand for even larger properties than our first one, which is 5 bedrooms. And the price point would be 4 or 5 million US up. So
man, 4 or 5 million.
yeah, it might come as a shock to many people.
Wow.
You know, like thinking Koh Phangan, yeah, it's kind of like a low budget destination.
Sure.
But it's not necessarily the case anymore.
But my last time here was over just about 2 years ago, and I feel like it's changed. I mean, that was at the tail end of the pandemic, so that was one thing. But furthermore, this feels like it's becoming kind of like Tulum might have been 20 years ago, or maybe even like, I don't know, how would you describe it?
I would say it's a natural progression of popular islands and destinations. So when I first came out here, obviously I was traveling on a budget. It's more like a backpacker trip.
Sure.
You know, staying at a budget accommodation, eating at very local restaurants. But over the years, that's evolved both in terms of accommodation, services, places to eat, things to do. So I would say, you know, it's expected that if you have a beautiful island, beautiful destination, it's gonna evolve. What I'm really happy about is that there isn't an airport directly on the island.
Right.
So it slows down that development.
Yeah.
And I hope it's gonna be many, many more years until it reaches kind of that overdeveloped, over-tourism kind of state.
You bring up a good point. You know, you look at Phuket as an airport, and what you get are these busloads of Chinese tourists. And I do feel like there's a little bit of an insulation to Koh Phangan to preserving some of its natural beauty and avoiding these rushes of tourists to keep it just a little more island feel.
Yeah. So there are obviously some restrictions. There is a limited amount of land, but at the same time, people do want to make money. They do want to sell land. So a lot of the land is still going to be developed on the island. What I'm happy is that the authorities are being more and more strict around the regulations. So there have been some developments that were happening that were not following the regulations, that were going outside the build permit as well. And now they are seeing that there is a risk of these properties being torn down. So I'm really happy about this because there should be a limit to what is possible to build here. And it should also prevent, from more people doing projects that will destroy the island in a way.
Mike, now kind of some rapid fire responses, okay? The guys watching, they might be thinking about retiring in Thailand, moving to Thailand. For those guys, why is Koh Phangan attractive? is a place
Yeah,
to maybe move as an expat? Why would it be attractive to them?
I would say like for me and I think for many people the attractiveness is that it is already in a state where you have pretty decent healthcare, lots of activities, very good community, mix of people, both in terms of visitors but also like a long-term community here. I think you can easily find your network, your community, which is important in any place where you stay for a considerable amount of time. By the same time, you know, it's that connection to nature, connection to outdoor activities, which are, to me, the biggest luxury. You know, just walking barefoot, you know, being in a natural environment, I think is just great for the overall happiness and wellness. So you have a bit of everything, healthy food, Thai food obviously, amazing. Koh Phangan is famous for also a lot of nice
sure.
vegan, vegetarian restaurants.
For sure.
A lot of sunshine, that helps.
Good weather. Okay, so if you had to pick 1 or 2 words to describe Koh Phangan, what are those 1 or 2 words?
It would be still natural, adventure, and luxury.
Natural, adventure, luxury. Yeah. You know, I'm glad you brought up the third one because it's easy to maybe if you show up on Koh Phangan the first time and you're on a motorbike and the roads are dusty and it feels kind of rugged and raw, there's another side to the island that is luxury. I mean, we're talking $5 million homes.
Yeah, a luxury can mean many things to many different people. You know, it can be a $5 million house, you know, where you have all the comforts you can imagine.
Yeah.
Also, luxury can be being in nature, being
Luxury
in close
lifestyle.
connection.
Yeah, rich.
Yeah.
And
so
I live on
it's-
that note. Talking about a rich lifestyle, meaning rich, I define rich as feeling good inside, peaceful, healthy,
Yes.
fitness, being able to be active every day, having vitality. To me, that's rich. I think, though, we should talk about one thing about Koh Phangan, which is awesome, which I love.
Okay.
You're never going to see a designer handbag in Koh Phangan. If you have one, it looks really awkward. You know, that part, you know, as some in the Western world identify as rich, don't bring them.
Yeah.
You look like a weirdo, which I love.
Yeah, I agree. You do see them occasionally, but they do stand out, and yeah, I'm not sure it's very fitting this environment. So yeah.
Yeah, I
keep your
notice,
expensive handbags
and I
at
notice
home
when I
and
come
fancy
here,
shoes.
day by day, I start to strip. Like, you know, you might show up with long pants and a, you know, button-down shirt. Next thing you know, like some of the guys that come in here, they're just shirtless, flip-flops,
See that?
shorts.
Quite liberating, right?
Liberating. I am going to put a link to Mike's info in the description to this video. But man, it's good to catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
been
see you
just
again
over
soon.
2 years. Yeah, I plan to come back more often. It feels good to be in Koh Phangan. I like it, especially after what's going on in Phuket with just the over-tourism. Coming here, there's tourism, but it doesn't feel overwhelming. So it's very nice.
I can imagine. Yeah. So please come visit again.
Yeah, man. Good seeing you, man. Yeah. Guys, I'll see you on the next stop. Okay, this is one reason I would choose to live in Koh Phangan as an expat. For all these facilities that have like an ice bath, herbal steam, and sauna, I think it's a big amenity. And it's one reason like I love the south of Phuket, like in Hawaii, where you have all the herbal steam and sauna and the ice baths. It's one reason I love Hakone, Japan, like Tokyo. So this is a big draw for me. Right here, Koh Phangan, you have so much of this healthy ice bath, sauna stuff. What's your name?
Tom.
Tom from Israel. Tom, one word to describe Koh Phangan.
I think that the one word I can think of is freedom.
Freedom.
You can feel free to do whatever you want. It feels
Freedom.
like socially.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It has nature, there's party, there's like the city itself. It's an
So
amazing
freedom,
place.
I'm gonna say for me, it's kind of like natural is the word I would use. It just feels natural. People are just being themselves. They're peeling away
No
all
judgments.
the symbols and
No judgments.
you don't see any like things we're taught in Western culture to consume. That's not here.
Yep.
Everyone's stripped down to their shorts.
Yep.
They're usually halfway naked most of the
Even
day.
less than shorts.
That's right. And sometimes fully naked. They just
Yeah.
peel it all back. It's like natural. So, let's say farewell from Koh Phangan. After you see this video, would you consider moving here? One. Or maybe you already live here. What do you love about living here as an expat? See you guys.